seeing people come on here. Welcome. Okay. So, I know this is a little sudden. I know this is very, very sudden and very unexpected. And, I heard that you got done, listening to Pam Gregory, and she's done with the things that she is talking to you about. So, I think it's a perfect opportunity. I was going to do this earlier, but then I just got a message from Daniel that Pam was done speaking. So I did not want to, have you just switch over to something else while she's speaking, because I can tell you that would be very wrong and, premature of me to do. Number one, no, it's just, no. Mm-mm. So this is how things work at the Amenten, is sometimes things happen that are unexpected. And things happen all of a sudden. So I just want to, alert you to that. That's kind of how things work here sometimes. It's about expecting the unexpected. You're probably wondering why I'm doing this. You're probably, okay, so look at the title of the live stream, first of all. So I titled this live stream, Astro Chat, Ask Everett for my Amenten. So I want you, actually I'm going to put the, oh my goodness. I'm going to put a link, and I want you to click on the link. So click on that link right there, and you'll see the latest live stream on there, and then you'll find out the reason why I'm doing this. So click on that link. If only I could share my screen with you right now. Now, I am going to be, things are going to be a certain way here. So if you see that live stream and you see why there's that live stream there on the live tab of the channel, I just want to get, kind of honest with you that this is someone that I recommended for my psychotherapist to watch. Next time I'm going to recommend, Deborah Silverman. Next time I'm going to recommend, Braca Goldsmith. So many of those people. I mean, yes, they have stuff that they, that costs, money that you have to pay for. Braca has, webinars on her website. Deborah Silverman has, her applied astrology school. But none of those two people have anything involving YouTube that you have to pay for. Their YouTube channel is all free. There's more of a boundary there set in place. Colette Baron Reed does not have a join feature on her channel. Go to her channel and you won't find a join button. Go to Deborah Silverman's channel, you won't find a join button. If Deborah Silverman or Baraka Goldsmith put a join button on their channel, and so many other people, including, Owning Authenticity. Carly, I just filmed a welcome video for her last night. I might consider paying money. It's just the system of YouTube. It grants people certain things because of the amount of following. I am giving you lemons, and why not use those lemons that I'm giving to you? Why not take advantage of what you're given? So, yeah. So, I would join those channels. Maybe. I probably would. I don't know. I really think that I would, though. But for some reason, and I'm saying this and I'm being honest, this Amenten, and I'm a part of this as well, none of you can join Maria De Simone's channel. She advertises for it so much of the time that you can't join the channel. Now, I would say you can't, pay for the astrology school, from Deborah Silverman. But I don't want to talk about that here. I just want to talk about this. And I want to talk about what I'm going to be doing from now on. Every single time that, Maria De Simone does a live stream, I'm going to do a live stream. And it's going to be over the same topic that she is doing a live stream. So yeah, that's, what it comes down to. Is when she does a live stream over a particular topic, I'm going to be doing the same thing. And so, you clicked on the link, you found a live stream called Astro Chat on New Moon in Taurus, Nodes entering Aries in Libra, Venus retrograde in Leo, etc. I think that she just changed that just a second ago when I reloaded the page or something. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Now, here's the deal. I am going to be the new Maria De Simone when it comes to live streams. So if, let's say, you're watching a live stream of Maria De Simone, and you have a question that you want to ask that is astrologically related. And I'm here to tell you that instead of going to Maria de Simone for an answer, instead of, relying on somebody else to give you the answer, I just want to start there. Then, A, because there's more than one alternative, A, you can find out for yourself. B, instead of turning to Maria de Simone for answers to your astrological questions on a live stream that she does, instead of turning to her for insight in astrology on a live stream that she does, I'm not talking about videos, I'm talking about live streams. Instead of turning to her for that, turn to me. I will get to a point where I will have to make money, but I swear to you, you can go follow me on my YouTube channel for so many years, and I will not advertise a single thing that you have to pay money for. I swear. It will all be free content. So, let me tell you, I think I'm going to have you watch the video from Carly owning authenticity on the lunar nodes changing signs into Aries and Libra. Because she put so much into that video. So much, so many pearls of wisdom and information. And it is so in depth on, talking about what it means. And I'm more interested in what, a collective view, I guess you could say, or, what the themes are. I'm less interested in, what does this mean for my rising sign? Or my sun sign or my moon sign. That's not what I'm interested in personally. I don't want to project what I'm interested in onto you because we all have different interests. However, you could be saving yourself serious money paying for a webinar on the lunar nodes by Maria de Simone when you could be watching. If you want to find out what the lunar nodes mean and what they're about, the North Node in Aries, the South Node in Libra, you could be saving yourself so much money by and having an even better experience watching a video and viewing videos that are more fulfilling to watch when you watch. I'm going to use an example. The video is from, the channel Owning Authenticity. If you want to find out what it means for your sun, moon, rising sign, what the lunar nodes mean for that, or what Venus retrograde in Leo means for that, or what the new moon in Taurus means for that, there's plenty of astrologers that will do that. There's plenty of astrologers that will give you that information. So my point here is very simple. That it's so important And you already know this information. I already know this information. But it's so important to be grateful for all that you have and all, all the resources that you have. If Maria de Simone did not answer your question on a live stream, and if you want to find out what does this mean from her, and if you want her expertise in all of that, save yourself some money and do that research for yourself, watch other videos, or get that information from different astrologers. Here's the thing. I've spoken so much about, gratitude and so much about, all of that. You already know it. I preached it before. But here is the other piece. Choosing what is free. Choosing what does not make you feel guilty for not investing in whatever. And having a clear sense, you know what? I'm going to detach from this. It's tempting, but I'm going to detach from this. Closed-mindedness can be, incredibly helpful. Open-mindedness and closed-mindedness. I want you to think of me as Maria de Simone. The Maria de Simone that does not make you feel guilty for not joining your channel. I don't have the join button. If I get the, opportunity of having it, that'll be one of the last things that I'll be doing. Because I don't believe and agree with YouTube and, the whole join button situation where you're paying money. I think it's fascinating to me that Owning Authenticity made these really in-depth videos on the lunar nodes. And so many other astrologers produce these great videos that they could have you pay to watch. But you don't have to pay because they're free. It's not going to be the biggest investment if you're paying for one of Maria de Simone's webinars. Because there are other astrologers, and those other astrologers do a better job at explaining what it means, the themes of it, and what it means for your, sun, moon, or rising sign. When it comes to the sun, moon, or rising sign, when it comes to, anything that Maria de Simone produces that is not free, then there's many other sources for that. So when she does a live stream, be prepared to drop everything and get on this live stream. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Because, I'm getting sick and tired of hearing about join feature. I mean, if I could, have somebody to hack into her YouTube channel, then they would take the join feature off. And that would be it. That would be it, because the rest is free. Now, one of my pet peeves is comparing something to something else. Like when people say, oh, well, here's a great example. What I'm going to emphasize here is, my grandma. When I told her to just say my name correctly without mistaking it over and over and over continually, she said, oh, well, I don't give Rita birthday presents. And, I kind of want the people that I am on the same side with certain, matters to speak to exactly what the people who I disagree with said. Certain things check out, certain things don't. But know that the form may look like that wisdom, or that it may look like it's being preached to you by a family member who is, projecting onto you. It may appear that way, but underneath all of that lies wisdom. I also understand about, standing up for yourself, all that. I don't want to go on that rant. This is defeating the purpose of why I'm on this live stream. But I'm sort of reorienting myself with what I was talking about. As I said again. So, you would be paying for less information when you don't have to pay any and get really in-depth and insightful information from, Carly promoting authenticity. And I also want to emphasize not getting so hung up on needing to know how this affects you and your own rising sign, all that. What if learning about the themes and learning about what it's about is enough? I personally have never been a huge fan of hearing how it's going to be affecting my rising sign or whatever, because it just doesn't mean that much to me personally on a personal standpoint. So, so yeah. So I'm going to be doing these live streams. I've already said that before. So I am going to be talking to you about the new moon in Taurus, the nodes entering Aries and Libra, and Venus retrograde in Leo. And then I'm going to answer your questions. So ask me questions that you would ask to a professional, well-trained astrologer. I am a professional and well-trained astrologer. Ask me your questions. I think that you get my point here. Maybe my point is you don't have to be that. But ask me your questions like I am a professional and well-trained astrologer. So, I'll get to that. So, the new moon in Taurus coming up is going to be happening at the at the end of Taurus. So 28 degrees of Taurus. So we've had the lunar eclipse in Scorpio on May 5th, and then the new moon in Taurus on May 19th. So this new moon is a time to get into, being, present, being, to really, oh yeah, I'm, crossing a boundary here now. So I'm just going to tell you, basically, what this is, about. So we have, Venus retrograde in Leo coming up in the summertime. If you don't have any Leo in your natal chart, then you would look to the other fixed signs. So Leo, Taurus, Aquarius, and Scorpio, and you would want to see if you have any planets or points along those degrees. So the degrees for Venus retrograde in the sign of Leo, let me just pull it up here. It's so critical that I draw boundaries because I do all the astrological speak on my own YouTube channel, and I do not want to do that here. So that was, me saying, oh, well, if you want this information, you have to join my channel. Oh, well, if you want this, you have to pay. However, I'm not having you pay anything. You don't have to pay anything to see my videos. They're all free, just as you don't have to pay for, Carly from Owning Authenticity. And I'm going to say that those videos are worthy of, investing in. And you don't have to pay anything to watch these videos. So, Venus in Leo is happening. It's going to start on July the 22nd. It's going to start at, 28 degrees. So, I do want you to keep this in mind. So, every 8 years, Venus is going to return to the same sign that it went retrograde in 8 years before then. Venus only goes retrograde in certain signs, and it takes a while for Venus to change the sign that it's in. Every 8 years that it goes retrograde, it has a pattern, it has a sequence. It does change to different signs, but it takes years for it to do it. And you can recognize a pattern. So in the summer of 1991, 1999, in the summer of 2007, and in the summer of 2015, Venus was retrograde in Leo. So that's what all those years have in common. Now, some of you were not born beyond the points that I was talking about. So if you can remember, for instance, the summer, of 2015 is the most recent. The summer of 2015 in Venus retrograde in Leo, for me personally, is when I began the fear of bugs. I got afraid of bugs. And so Venus was reevaluating love, values, beauty in Leo. And I was not fully open to that because I was afraid of bugs. That is what went on for me in my own personal life. You may have a different experience. And this was a long time ago. This was 8 years ago. So, You want to find Leo in your chart, first of all. You want to find the planets in Leo, the houses that, those planets, are in. So Mercury in Leo in the 4th house, for example. That becomes important. You also want to look to see if you have angles such as midheaven or ascendant. Those are the angles. You want to see if you have those angles. First of all, around the degrees that I mentioned in the fixed signs. So, if you have any angles or, planets in fixed signs, you want to see what houses they're in, what areas of life will be affected by then. So, for me, for instance, and you may not have any Leo. What if you don't have Leo? Because not everybody has every single sign. I do not have I don't have a trace of Leo in my natal chart. Zilch. 0. None. I don't have a drop of that in my natal chart. However, if I were to pull up my natal chart, let me just pull it up here for myself. So April 6th, 2004. So looking at the houses, if I can go down to find the houses. Okay, so let me just... Okay, Roman numerals. 5 Roman numeral. So let me go to my north node here, because I know that that's in the 5th house. Okay, so anything in the 5th house. So for example, I do not have any Leo in my natal chart. And that is the energy that I know least about in astrology. And, when it comes to learning about Leo, you have to take a deep dive. You can't just do shallow, surface, general level. You have to take a deeper dive into what Leo really is about. You can't just look at the shallow, because it dies in an instant. And it's really one of the most misunderstood signs. So that's what I strongly believe, is that, So, it can so often lend itself to pop culture astrology. So that's why for that particular sign, you may want to do a deeper dive. So my north node is in the 5th house. So that is important. So I don't have any Leo in my natal chart. But I do have my north node in the 5th house. I want to go back to the degrees that the Venus retrograde is going to be occurring at. So I just want to pull that up again. Just pretend I'm born on September 3rd, 2023. So Venus is going to go retrograde in Leo from July 22nd of this year to September 3rd of this year. So throughout, pretty much the whole summer. So let me just see here. So Venus is going to go retrograde from 28 degrees of Leo to 12 degrees. So 28 to 12 degrees of Leo. That's that's where you want to look. So if you have any planets or points from 28 degrees to 12 degrees of Leo, or any one of the fixed signs, Leo, Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, that's going to become significant for you. Yeah, so that is what I'm going to be saying about that. So, in talking about this, Venus retrograde, and just in general, I personally don't know how to read an ephemeris. I would rather go through the natal chart and then just type in dates and try to find out where planets begin a certain transit and end a certain transit, and find out the aspects through that. Because I can you don't need an ephemeris if you become an astrologer. All you need is perhaps a natal chart calculator, and you can just go through and see, okay, so for example, today is May 11th, 2023, and I want to find out when Mars changes signs. I don't know when Mars changes signs, so I'm just going to click on a random date. I know that Mars spends up to 40 days in a sign or so I'm just going to go on May 11th and find out if it's changed signs. It hasn't changed signs. It's at 25 degrees of Cancer. So what do I know? It's not going to go retrograde, so I would move forward a couple of days. So let's say I want to move forward to May 16th. Pretend I don't know when Mars is going to change signs. So let's see if Mars moves into a different sign, and you always want to find out how by putting in 11:59 p.m., going to the very end of the day to find out if Mars changed signs that day or not. So I would go and find out. Mars is still not in, it hasn't changed signs yet. So I would want to go forward a little bit more to then find out when. So that is how you do that. It's very, very simple. It just requires putting in a couple of dates and finding, the information out while trying a couple of different things, and then you can get that information. That's how I found out, when certain planets enter or leave certain signs or not. Is that's the way that I get it, and that is the way that I will continue to do it. If I become a professional astrologer or not, this is the way that I will continue to do it because it works for me and it makes sense. Now, wait 9 years later and then somebody can tell me, oh, there's a much easier way to do this, So anyway, yeah. So, so that's the Venus retrograde. Again, I'm not going to go over the themes of what that is about. And then also what's going on is the nodes changing signs. So, the North Node, so going back to Venus retrograde, Venus only goes retrograde in certain signs for a time. So, the signs of Leo, Scorpio, and Libra, Aries, Capricorn, Gemini, all those kinds of different signs. Venus goes retrograde and for a certain amount of time. That's what it's doing right now. So, when it comes to learning about your own astrology, and when it comes to doing your own natal chart, I just want to, make this point really, really clear, is that you can actually do it yourself. You can go on a, calculator, and you can type in the information if you, don't have the money to pay for getting a consultation with an astrologer. It's really both and, not either or. There are benefits to getting a reading from a professional astrologer in that they know what they're doing and they're professional and all of that. However, you can also learn about your own astrology through, a calculator, like, Cafe Astrology, for example, and what it describes to you. And, it is general, and you can break down the aspects of your chart, the placements, all of that. And, you can sort of put pieces together for how the transiting planets or aspects in the sky is going to affect you personally. And, you can, do your own research. And that comes from someone who is, a professional astrologer. Now, in talking about the next thing is talking about the nodes entering Aries and Libra. So this is not going to happen until July of 2023. And, I'm going to be doing a video on that closer to the time. I'm going to wait till around the beginning of July to do that video. But, basically releasing, relationship patterns, and, not getting caught in all this harmonizing and all this being, so, charming and diplomatic. We are balancing that out with stepping into our own inner spark, our own courage. And we are, moving in, brand new directions in our own life in those kind of ways, where we're taking initiative, where we are doing it ourselves. We are finding out for ourselves what certain placements or certain transits are, mean for us. We're doing that research ourselves. We're taking initiative ourselves to, have our own life. So, you can certainly do your own research over finding out how transits and, placements are going to affect you in your own life. So, yeah. So, yeah. So I think that is all. Now, the next part of this is you asking me your questions. So you can ask me your questions if you have questions about any of these 3 astrological events. So the new moon in Taurus, if you have planets or points at the very end degrees, 26 to 29 degrees of the fixed signs, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, it's going to be huge for you. So you can ask me any questions that you have over these astrological events. And this is open for anyone to ask. You don't have to pay anything to ask your questions to me. So, okay. So, yeah, and ask me questions, if you were asking, one of the astrologers here in my astrological community, Maria De Simone, ask your questions. What are your questions? Okay, so it says that your Venus in Scorpio is at 13 degrees. So, and in the third house. So, how this particular transit of Venus and Leo is going to show up for you is, with Venus and Scorpio, you have a really strong need for intimate, deep connection in relationships. Am I right or am I right? You have a need to find out what somebody else in your life is up to. And you can't be left to the sidelines. You need to be included in things. You need to be loved and held. And you also need, a loyal and strong connection. And you would be very interested in occult subject matters. And in the third house, you may do things like astrology. You may do things like, tarot, or, certain avenues, for your life with the third house matters. You might communicate in a really deep and rich way with this particular placement. Now, the Venus retrograde coming up in Leo is if you felt betrayed, if you felt like you cannot express yourself, if you felt like you were not, were not shy, were shy and timid and boxed in intellectually, then now's the time to come out and be the center of your life in that way. Because the third house is communication, where you're conveying how you're feeling, and you're having certain things happen so that you can have more love and feel more love in your own personal life. Any other questions? Okay. So, new moon in Taurus. Oh, you were actually born with new moon in Taurus. Yeah, so this is going to really make a lot of sense for you. Okay, so your moon in Taurus in the 5th house. So now you're, this would be a wonderful time to get grounded in terms of your creative expression, so many things like that. Okay. So, this is not my, job here. So, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be a very, very interesting, solution situation here. So I'm actually going to have another astrologer from the astrological community here at the Amenten do this. And, basically take the live streams that she is doing and then, explain the information, and then you can ask their questions to them. Here's what I just want to convey to you. To not go see her live streams. To avoid, you can watch her videos. Don't watch her live streams, though. And, definitely don't join the channel. Definitely don't join the channel. So, yeah. So, I'm not going to be watching any live streams, and that is why I'm not going to be on here again doing this. So, thank you for being here. I hope you found this helpful. Good information, and I'll connect with you another time.